Good day, everyone. This is Potleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
Hello, Drac. And is the blood flowing?
It is. It is.
Then let's see if any of that blood is mine from getting killed in the new dungeons. Because we're looking at Update 36, Patch 1. Where apparently they were doing some adjustments to the latest dungeon and some tweaks on the warlocks, where apparently they were not only nerfed before this, but they're also buffing the enemies?
Yeah, that kind of was a thing. So yeah, that was, I think, the biggest thing out of this patch, really, is Warlock's Eldritch Aura will no longer buff enemies when a friendly NPC is within range. Well, that's helpful. Wow. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, like you said, not only did the poor Warlock get a nerf, they were helping the enemy with their nerf. Jeez, Warlocks can't catch a break, can they?
Nope, not at all.
Also, the Arcane Archer's 5th core enhancement, Shadow Arrows, it's hard to talk, words are hard, no longer removes its passive +1 critical multiplier when swapping out your weapon. Again, that's handy. Gumsking in the chat room is saying, Warlocks quality of life updates, Orc life, Ogre life, etc. Exactly. Exactly. So this was kind of a funny little patch note, but the lost motes will remain lost, but they are no longer unusable and contain a string arrow in your bags, shared banks, or crafting storage. And I'm assuming that is getting them ready for, they have hinted at several times in several of the past live streams that the Mimic Hunt is going to make a return soonish. Trademark. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming the Lost Motes little update there was to fix the string table errors to get them ready to be turned in for hopefully good loot, because they said they are going to redo the loot table for the Mimic Hunt, and that was an awesome event. I liked it. Enjoyed it. Can't wait for that to come back. And then there was a few updates to some of the quests in the Mines of Tethiamar. The undead in the mines will no longer be healed by positive energy and are now actually undead. Which, again, that's handy. Both of the optional bosses in Records of the Past will no longer become active until you have entered the room with them. Experience in the Mines of Tethiamar has been increased on all difficulties. And I know a lot of people are happy to see that patch note, because there was quite the thread going on in the forums about how a lot of people felt the XP in the new quest pack was just a little underwhelming. They wanted a little more XP for it. So it looks like they have adjusted the XP on all difficulties across the board. So yay, more XP is good. And the Mines of Tethiamar quest on Legendary Casual now drop Legendary items instead of the heroic named items. The percentage chance for Mines of Tethiamar named items to get Reaper bonuses are now at their intended level. Mines of Tethiamar named items can no longer gain multiple Reaper bonuses. And the light armor now properly appears in the Desire in the Dark dungeon instead of other Mines of Tethiamar quests. And the robe no longer appears in Desire in the Dark and instead properly appears in the Graveyard Shift. And the last patch notes was in the UI, there is now a single guild buff icon that will remain visible when the Hide Guild Buffs UI option is enabled. This buff is only granted when using the airship amenity bar and simply displays the time remaining on non-cargo hold guild buffs. So a small little patch, but a patch nonetheless.
All right, then let's head into the Chronicle issue 243. And anything interesting happening in there?
Besides the Drider on the cover art?
Well...
Which I'm surprised you normally bring up the cover art. You didn't say anything about the Drider this time.
I suppose I wanted to see if you would cover it.
Gotcha. Well, see, and I did. I got your back, finally.
Okay.
In the community spotlight section of a Chronicle this week, of course, they are letting everybody know that Gen Con is coming soon, and there is going to be a DDO meetup. It is the Gathering for Buffs. It's taking place Friday night, so make sure you click over in the forum and read all about that and find out how to participate. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Also, community, the Munchkin Summer Games are wrapping up in the next few weeks. You still have time to jump over and join the annual summer event, which takes place on the Kyber server. And the High Lords of Malkir are hosting a Death to Suleimani's teaching raid on Saturday, and that actually was last Saturday. I forget where the way the Chronicle comes in. It's weird. So hopefully High Lords of Malkir had a great teaching raid last Saturday, but they usually do those once a week, so they will probably have another raid teaching coming up this weekend. And Grasskitch is continuing to host Heroic Abbot raids twice a week over on Galanda. So if you're wanting to run the Abbot raid, check that out over on Galanda, and you can get in a weekly raid. So there you go. Awesome. And always good to see players hosting raids like that. So people that maybe don't have a guild that raids or haven't raid much, you can hop in with somebody like that and actually get to do the raid. So that's always good. The fan site news section, we got a shout out for our last episode where I wanted my mini Strahd, and I still do. GDO Cast is bringing in the spreadsheet expert for an episode all about spreadsheets.
All about spreadsheets?
All about spreadsheets, which I was just disappointed you were not on that podcast, finally.
Why would I be on it?
Because you are the king of spreadsheets, my friend.
Are you talking about a different Pine Leaf?
You don't use I thought you used to use spreadsheets.
Well, I use spreadsheets, but not to... I use spreadsheets for various things, but not to optimize my character, which is what I thought you were talking about.
Well, they were talking about all the uses of spreadsheets. And of course, the expert in that is Saba Jade, because she has a spreadsheet for everything. If you listen to the episode, you'll see what I mean. But yes, it's an interesting... I don't know. I can say that I've used a spreadsheet once. It's just too much work. I'll just be honest. That's way too much work to keep track of all that stuff.
Well, I do it in some things when I'm trying to collect information for articles and the like, if there's statistical information that would be useful for it.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes sense. But like, you don't go as far as, okay, I want to get these items, and I know they drop in this quest. I ran that quest this many times. These are the items that dropped, but not that item. You don't quite go that far, do you?
Now, that does not sound like the type of spreadsheet I would create.
Okay. Good to know. Me neither. But if you're into spreadsheets, definitely listen to that episode. It was a great episode. And the even note is realizing that mines are made for dwarves. Click over to watch the latest streaming with Even and to find out how she jumped to that conclusion. And all I'm going to say to that is, well, duh. Dirty William is too good to attack. So watch his latest Let's Play video to see exactly what he's talking about there. And Alex solos Trial by Fire on Reaper 3. Click over and see how well Alex did in that attempt of Reaper 3 of Trial by Fire.
Reaper 3.
Reaper 3. And of course, we have our Chronicle comment of the week, which I will be honest, I have not read yet. So this is going to be a new one for me. I forgot to actually look at this. So I don't have an answer prepared. So I'm going to go off the cuff here on this one. What is your favorite new named item in the Mines of Tethiamar?
Can I wait until I actually see one?
Sure. We talked about them last week.
Yeah, of course we talked about them last week. And I'm sure they all got a nice mention, but...
And I think last week you said you really don't care about named items, I think, so...
Well, not enough in order to run a dungeon 50 times in order to get one.
Gotcha. Unlike what I'm doing right now. I would say it's kind of a toss-up for me. I really like the pendant of hidden tools, which was very, very, very nice for all my rogue-type characters. So I like that. But then I like the look of the leather armor, which I'm not going to say the name of it for reasons. I'm not going to go into my reasons.
Okay.
Because
It's called the Armor of Felicia or something?
No, see, I can't. I'm not going to go into it for spoiler reasons. I'll put it that way.
Okay, fine.
That's the way I'll put it. I'll just put it that way. I do like the look of that. I think I'm going to try to get that to glamour that for a couple of my characters because I do like the look of the armor. So there's my answer, I think, for the Chronicle comment. And Pine Leaf is abstaining from his answer.
Because I don't remember. Well, first of all, I'd have to have a character that I expect to be playing substantially enough in order to make it worth going after it.
Yeah, you see, you're like me. You're not running these thousands and thousands of times to try to get this stuff to drop because the RNG sucks. Stupid RNG. And going back to our spreadsheet conversation, Gums Gang in the chat is saying Pine Leaf doesn't need spreadsheets because he has it all memorized. All he has to do is consult the Pinepedia.
Yeah, there is also that.
Pinepedia never lies. We do have our official screenshot of the week to wrap out the Chronicle this week, and that is Daylight is apprehended by the Drider Jailer in the 325th DDO screenshot of the week, and that is from a player called Kleber. So congratulations on that screenshot, and I'm not exactly sure how you did that screenshot. I'm thinking there's some Photoshop trickery going on here. But maybe not. Maybe he was just very lucky with camera placement. I don't know. Cool screenshot, though. I like it.
And how does a jailer apprehend daylight? With the darkness spell?
I see what you did there, Pine. Well played, sir. Well played.
It was begging for that.
True, it was. They just laid it right out on the plate for you.
Oh, yeah. Sure, they were quite ready. So what's on sale this week? I'm sure it's something that's going to be casting off soon.
We have a 20% off select reincarnation hearts, healing items, spell point potions, and quest XP elixirs. We're in week 4 of the summer sales. We have 35% off 500 astral shards, 50% off character slots. Also, the Ruins of Gianthold Adventure Pack at 50% off, and 75% off the Morning Lord Iconic Hero. And those are good until July 27th. So if you want to take advantage of those sales, time's a ticking, folks. And of course, the free sample of the week is a pretty good free sample. Always good to get Slayer count boost. It is a lesser one. You will get one of those when you use the coupon code DATSLAYCOUNT. TATSLAYCOUNT. DATSLAYCOUnt. Free sample of the week through July 27th.
So my question is, you're saying that they put 500 shards on sale, but no other size?
Yeah, that was kind of weird to me. I don't know why it wasn't like all astral shards, but yeah, it was 500 astral shards. I don't know the logic behind that. But it's always good to see them on sale because, as I've said in past shows, don't pay full money for those unless you have a bunch of money that you just want to blow and you have money to spend. And if so, why don't you donate to the podcast because we're poor? But yeah, it's just the 500. It's kind of weird, but okay. It's always good to see those on sale, but it just seems weird. It's just the 500 count, but okay.
Okay. Then let's head into our site news, but it sounds like that at the moment there isn't anything, but I have a feeling that something is going to be creeping up soon.
It is very, very soon. And of course, we're talking about Gen Con. You people are going to get sick of hearing about Gen Con because our Gen Con coverage is coming soon. In 23 days, as a matter of fact. As of this recording, the countdown to Gen Con is at 23 days. Our coverage is going to be a lot because I have locked in interviews already, and I'm just trying to figure out, okay, when am I going to sleep and when am I going to eat? Because my schedule is looking pretty full for Gen Con so far. I have confirmed the following interviews with the following game companies: Morning Games, Modafius Entertainment, Sirenscape, Mythic Entertainment, Haba USA, Paizo, Fireside Games, the Meta Arcade folks, and just today, actually, this is not totally confirmed yet. I don't actually have a time. We're trying to work out a time that works for us. But I'm going to get to talk to Satine Phoenix and Rudy Rutenberg, who those of you might know if you watch the Maze Arcana show, which, of course, is a D&D stream on the official D&D stream channel. I'm going to get to talk to those two folks, and that's going to be amazing. I can't wait for that. I'm just waiting for a time right now where Satine and I are going back and forth trying to figure out a time that'll work, because Gen Con is shaping up to be busy for all of us, apparently. And, of course, I will be taking a recorder to the Gathering for Buffs on Friday night, which is the DDO meetup, recording that as well. And then I do plan on talking to a ton of other game companies just by going up to their booths. I just don't actually have interviews scheduled with them. So it's going to be a lot of videos that you are going to see. And also this year, I'm going to do something different with the coverage. The videos I make, I'm actually going to convert just into audio podcast and release them on the feed as well. Because I know last year there was a couple of people said, well, I really don't subscribe to your YouTube channel, so could maybe you do audio versions of those? And I'm thinking, yeah, that'd be pretty simple to do. So I'm going to do that this year. So you're going to have your choice. You can either watch them on YouTube, or if you subscribe to the podcast via iTunes or Pocket Cast or any other type of RSS feed, you will get the audio of the interviews as well. And speaking of all those interviews, we actually have a sponsor for our Gen Con coverage this year.
Ooh.
I would like to thank the Skull Splitter Dice Company over at skullsplitterdice.com. I'll put the link down in the show notes and on the description of this video over on YouTube for sponsoring our our Gen Con coverage. So you're going to hear all about Skull Splitter Dice before and after all of our Gen Con videos, because those great folks said, hey, we'll sponsor you to get these great interviews because you're awesome, the podcast is awesome, and their dice are awesome, so it all worked out. We're all awesome together.
Ah, okay.
So thanks to Skull Splitter Dice for sponsoring our Gen Con coverage this year. But it's going to kick off soon. So if you're one of those people, we do have some listeners that they just listen for the DDO coverage. That week, probably you're going to want to sit out because it's going to be a lot of Gen Con and very little DDO that week. Unless DDO does something crazy and announce something major about Ravenloft. And then I'm going to be upset because I'm going to be at Gen Con and not here to cover it. But Cordovan is going to the Gathering for Buffs, so maybe I'll try to squeeze some Ravenloft information out of him as we're at the party and we're all, drinking adult type beverages. Maybe I can get some juicy details out of him.
Juicy details.
We'll see, hopefully.
We'll have to see if he gets out of that.
I'll try.
All right, then while we wait, let's see what's coming in from the dungeon. And the Table of Ultimate Gaming is coming to Kickstarter. And what makes it the Table of Ultimate Gaming?
That is a very big title they have given themselves, so I hope they can live up to the expectations from the name of the company. That's what they're calling themselves, and it's a game table. And from the pictures that they sent over to me, the table does look pretty freaking awesome. I will give them that. This Kickstarter is coming later in August, the end of August to be exact. And you can have your choice of tables. They have a 3x5 and a 4x6. You have your choice of color, your choice of wood engravings, and of course you have many options you can add on. And they are saying the prices are going to range from $500 to $800 depending on the configuration. So that's not bad for a gaming table, actually. That's pretty decent price, and they're saying that they're going to use high-quality wood, high-quality components to make the tables, and the tables are going to be configurable. You can do them into an L shape if you want, or you can have just a standard-type table, or you can do an L-shape table, or anything you can dream up, they can probably make for you. Of course, that'll cost you extra.
Right.
But so we'll see. But yeah, so a 3x6 or a 4x6 table, and it is the Table of Ultimate Gaming. And I just want to say that in the radio voice, the Sunday, that voice. Every time I was talk to these guys, that's all I'm thinking in the back of my head. Table of Ultimate Gaming.
Table.
That's right. Table. Coming to Kickstarter soon. So yeah, that'll be the end of August. And we will have more information on that and also more information on when the Kickstarter kicks off. So we'll kind of watch that Kickstarter and see. But I like the table. I fell in love with the red table that has the red dragon on the side of it. That is a really pretty table. I really like that table.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, can you get it with a bat instead?
Oh, hey, I should ask them. I bet they could do that. But then I'd be disappointed because I can't afford it. So maybe I won't ask them that. But yeah, as I said, coming to Kickstarter end of August, the Table of Ultimate Gaming, and they're saying 500 to 800, depending on your configuration and if you want the extras.
All right. Then let's head into the latest news on Gen Con. And it says here that Saturday badges have sold out. Are there any other days that are sold out?
Soon, very soon. Actually, Gen Con sent me an email today that it's looking like Friday, almost gone. Sunday, almost gone as well. So for the astute among you, once those 2 days sell out, Gen Con will be a complete sellout, which they are thinking is going to happen. So for the first time ever, you are not going to be able to get a ticket for Gen Con if you don't buy them now. And your choices now are very limited. You have Saturday and you have Sunday. Or I'm sorry, Friday and Sunday are all that you have left. Thursday has sold out. The 4 days have sold out. The other days, selling out quickly. They're thinking by the end of the week, no more badges for Gen Con. And once again, they did stress that for the first time ever, no badge sales on site. So if you don't hurry now over to GenCon.com, choose either the Friday or Sunday badge, you're going to be out of luck. You're not going to get to 10 Gen Con 50, which is blowing my mind. They're selling out. I cannot imagine how many people are going to be at Gen Con because it was crowded already and they have never sold out a ticket. So I can't imagine the crowds with actually sellout crowds. Oh, it's going to be insane.
Insane.
It's just going to be a mass of humanity is all it's going to be.
All right. Well, I suspect that since I tend to avoid crowds sometimes.
Probably not the place for you to be then.
Yeah, I think I will give that a pass and then see what is on the tabletop this week, where Fireside Games announces the Smash and Burn Tour. What in the world is that?
I love that, the Smash and Burn Tour. And it'll make sense when you find out what it's about. Yeah, the fine folks over at Fireside Games have announced they're going to go on a little tour of some friendly local game stores in the Midwest. This is kicking off August 22nd and running through October 7th. And it's going to go to 16 different stores all throughout the Midwest. And during this tour, when they stop at your local FLGS, you're going to get to demo their two newest games, Hot Shots and Kaiju Crush. Ergo, the Smash and Burn Tour.
All right.
They will also have promo cards for the games as well. And the greatest thing about it is you can actually talk to the designer of the game. He is going to be the one that is going to be demoing the game for you. That is Justin DeWitt of Fireside Games. So if you want to check out these two games, you're not going to be able to go to Gen Con because it's selling out quickly, and you live in the Midwest or maybe close to the Midwest, that you could maybe take a day trip to one of these stores. You can check it out. I have linked all of the stores in the article over on DDOplayers.com. Starts in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it ends in Carbondale, Illinois. And they go to Indiana and Ohio and Wisconsin as well. So it is just a little Midwest tour. But if you happen to be in that little slice of the country, which I just so happen to be, and they just so happen to be coming to my friendly local game store, so I will be attending this. And, you know, I'll have a camera with me, and I'll have my video or my audio recorder with me too. So you're going to get a little inside scoop on this, as I'll be attending this at my friendly local game store. So this is just pretty cool, I think, that they're doing. See, Smash and Burn Tour from Fireside Games. I said kicking off August 27th and ending October 7th.
And also, 2 animal themed, not one, but 2 animal themed games are coming from Mayfair Games. And why is this so important?
Because it's always good to have 2 new games from Mayfair Games because they make great games. And of course, these are the family-friendly budget price games that Mayfair is doing here lately. And they just so happen to have an animal theme. And for those of you lucky enough to attend Gen Con, there will be a limited supply of these, and they will be at your friendly local game store soon afterwards in September. But the 2 games coming out are Run, Bunny Run, and Food Chain. In Run, Bunny Run, you are a quick little bunny, and you're trying to evade a pack of hungry wolves and make it back to your den in a game of 1 against many. One player is controlling the bunny, while of course the other players will control the wolves, as the wolves work together to take down the bunny. So that's Run, Bunny, Run. And then we have Food Chain. This challenges players to predict which animal their opponent is going to play, hoping to pick something higher up in the food chain to win the trick, combining elements and hand management and simultaneous play all together. So this is a fun, fast game for kids of all ages. Food Chain, and that has an MSRP of $15, and the MSRP on Run Bunny Run is also $15. So family-friendly and budget price. 2 new games from Mayfair Games.
I am going to assume that the bunny will not be on the top of the food chain.
No, probably not. And God help the little bunny if the wolves catch it. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, yeah. Let's see then what's on the screen, and we'll begin with Middle-earth, Shadow of War, where we get the reveal of Shelob. And is this going to be similar to the version of Shelob we'll see in Lotro?
Not so much. Unless Standing Stone Games decides to make Shelob a shapeshifter that turns into a hot woman with a British accent. And then maybe, yes? Because yes. But, I had to watch the trailer of this twice for Middle-earth Shadow of War, and then finally I figured out the hot chick that Talon is talking to is actually Shelob. And I'm like, wow, that's quite an interesting take on Shelob. But okay. So yeah, there's that, and besides being a hot shape-shifting chick, she also gives Talon visions.
Visions.
Because Talon can see what's coming and what has transpired, and it's all kind of weird. But if you played the Shadow of War game, the Mordor game before this, you can understand they're kind of free with the lore, to put it mildly.
I have never actually played any of those games because, well, I think one of the reasons is because of the liberties they have been known to take.
Yeah, they are very free with the lore. So if you're like a lore purist, stay far, far away. But if you want to see like a giant spider turned into a hot chick, this is your game then. Middle-earth Shadow of War. It's coming out October 10th. The release date was October 22nd, but Monolith did push it back to October 10th. But it is coming out for Xbox One, PC, and PlayStation 4, all on October 10th. And you can watch the reveal of Shelob over at DDOplayers.com on this article. But they did a really good job with her. It's great voice acting. She's amazing looking. Like I said, she's like a hot chick. And then it's like, oh my God, that's Shelob. She's like a giant man-eating spider. But then she's this hot chick. I was confused, but in a weird, kind of good way.
This is the...
As I said, if you're a lore purist, stay away. Stay far, far away. But if you're into hot chicks with British accents, watch the video. Just saying.
Okay.
Pine Leaf has nothing.
Yeah, I think it's time... Is there anything that could be stranger than this?
How about Stranger Things Season 2, the full trailer, which makes no sense and just is more confusing than the teaser trailer was. But they did include Dragon's Lair at the beginning of it. I cannot tell you how many quarters I pumped into that video game So that was cool to see. And, of course, they used Michael Jackson's Thriller and the Vincent Price bit from Thriller throughout the trailer, too. So it was awesome. It gave me goosebumps. It's going to be awesome. Oh, yeah, and at the end, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the trailer yet and if you haven't seen Season 1, you see 11. She's not quite dead yet. She's pushing her way out of the upside-down world back into our world at the end of the trailer. Oh, my God. This cannot happen soon enough. October 22nd. 27th, excuse me, is so far away. But yes, Stranger Things Season 2, the full trailer, just is more confusing than ever. Such a good show, though. I love Stranger Things. Can't wait for Season 2.
What were you doing this week when you weren't looking at videos of trailers with nice-looking...
Spider women? I actually did a lot in game this week because I made it all the way through all the new quests on my level 21 ranger. So
okay.
I did the complete Mines of Tethiamar quest chains, Third Time's a Charm, Graveyard Ship, Records of the Past, Strike Back, and Desire in the Dark. I'm not going to spoil it because I know Pine Leaf has not ran them all yet. We're going to hopefully finish them up on Wednesday. So I won't spoil it, but they did an amazing job. I did not see the twist in the story coming. I was shocked to actually see what was revealed. So the writers did an amazing job. I really enjoyed the Desire in the Dark capstone quest. I think that is my favorite quest out of the... I like Strike Back a lot too, but I think Desire in the Dark is the best quest out of all of them. There's something else that happens in that quest that had me laughing. That was awesome. I cannot wait until Pine Leaf and I get to it so I can actually talk about it because I don't want to spoil it for Pine Leaf. But for those of you that have ran it, you know what I'm talking about. The reveal part and the other little part that happens that you have to help somebody. That was awesome. I was laughing so hard for that. So great job on that. Of course, ran those quests. No name drops. None. Zero. Zilch. None.
You were expecting some?
Heck no. Stupid RNG and not liking me and being mean and stupid RNG.
Poor Drac.
I know. I'm telling you. You would think by now I'd be used to it and I wouldn't get disappointed. But yet, every time I get disappointed when I'm like, okay, I'm at the end chest, give me my name. No. Lots of guild rep. That's about it. So I guess I was not a
guild rep.
Not a total loss, I guess, because there is a guild rep. But, I mean, come on. Throw me, like, one named item every once in a while at least, you know? Just one.
Don't you get one every once in a while?
Very, very rarely. And, of course, it's never the one I actually want.
Next thing you know, you want to pick a mount.
Yeah, exactly. We're not even going to discuss that on this podcast. Because, no, that still hasn't happened yet either. And for people that...
We need a pick a cosmetic pet.
There we go. That's right. Yeah. Knowing my luck, the mini Strahd is going to be in some like pick a mini pet box or something that you get, and of course I'll never get the box, and all these other people are going to have little mini Strahds, and I will never have one. Stupid RNG. Anyway. So that's what I did in DDO. So I ran all those. I enjoy those quests. So I'm going to be running them. Haven't decided which character I'm going to run through next. I think maybe I might do my Warlock just to see how sad my poor little nerfed Warlock is nowadays. So I think that'll be the next one that'll run through. So tune in next week to hear me say, I didn't get any named drops. So yeah, spoiler alert for next week's show. Also, 7 Days to Die. Still playing that, of course. Hooked on that game. Bad. Don't play the game ever. You'll get hooked, and then it's just bad. We survived our first Horde night, which, of course, is day 7. We raided the closest town near us because we are in desperate need of supplies, and that's what you do in 7 Days to Die. You go raid towns to find what you can find. And then,
is there anyone living in those towns?
No, everybody's dead other than us.
Okay.
Technically, I guess the zombies live there, technically. I guess you could say they live there.
It depends what your definition of live is.
Well, see, true. You know, that's what I was going to say. If zombies can live somewhere, they do live in the town, so you have to, like, kill them, and then you can, like, you know, loot to them and then loot the town. So, and also in this town, Patrick and I were the one that was actually doing most of the raiding in that town. We went over to the construction site, which is one of, in this new build of 7 Days to Die, they have construction sites and they have high-rise buildings, skyscrapers. And the developers of 7 Days to Die are calling them vertical dungeons because they have kind of like puzzles that you have to solve. Like, for example, on the skyscraper we were on, or the construction site, there's a part where there is a metal beam that the people started to build, but they didn't finish. So the metal beam kind of sticks out a little bit, but it's not far enough to where you can just run and jump to the next section. So you actually have to figure out, okay, what do I need to build to stick there so I can run over safely or whatever. So stuff like that. And there's also traps. There was a couple parts. There was one part where Patrick was running ahead of me, and he ran over some boards, and as he was running across the boards, of course, the boards fell away from his weight, and then I was stuck over the other side. So then we had to figure out how to get me over the other side. So for first time I did one of the construction sites, the thing is very tall. We got to the very top of it, and it is so high. I think we figured out we were about 10 stories up, and the zombies that were walking around on the ground looked so small because we were so high. It was crazy how high up we were. We did get some really good loot up at the top, though, because that is one of the points of the vertical dungeons, is they say the best loot is up at the top, but you got to figure out how to survive your way all the way up there. So we actually did make it all the way up there. We fell off several times. I about died several times. There was a crazy amount of zombies all throughout that construction site that we had to take care of as well, plus watch that we didn't fall off. So, yeah, it was crazy, crazy times, but a fun time as always. Had by all in 7 Days to Die. And that was my week in gaming. How about you, Punleap? What were you up to?
Very well. We will begin with what I did with you. And we went into a certain new dungeon, the Tethamar Mining Outpost. We ran 3rd times the charm, which is still tough. And after we ran that, we ran Graveyard Shift, which went pretty well. And after we ran, and that was basically all I did in DDO this week. I didn't actually, get time for anything else because I was busy doing Minecraft, and I was on my multiplayer world where I'm working on the nether tunnels. So I'm spending a little time building nether tunnels, and we've got some people living way, way far out, so it's going to take a little time to get those tunnels all built up. And then on tabletop, I played some Friday, and on Friday, I have my first win at level 3. There are 4 levels of play in Friday, and I just started going into level 3 this week and doing, at first, of course, getting bashed up a little bit, but finally got in there, and it sounds like, does that mean I'll have to soon start trying level 4? Ooh, that's going to be scary.
That's what I was going to ask. Now, are you going to do level 4 next?
I don't know. We'll see. But I guess I might be ready for it soon. And then I was playing some more Lord of the Rings card game. And in Lord of the Rings card game, I was trying out various different decks that I could potentially do and seeing how they work with each other. Some of them worked out fairly well, at least as far as I go with my meager deck building skills and my meager familiarity with strategy in the game and the like. So at least I get past the first scenario, and I even once got past the second scenario, which was a new thing. The third scenario, if I ever get past that one, I'll be really surprised. And that one, so I was starting to get a little bit better on that one, but some of the decks, as I said, starting to work out a little bit, other ones are saying, "What? You tried that deck?" Like that. Then in Lotro, Professor Corey Olson, who is known as the Tolkien Professor, he is doing a series called Exploring Middle-earth, where we're going through a very slow read of The Lord of the Rings. And on his latest episode, I was introducing him, and I had an opportunity on there, and apparently the person who's the moderator to the Discord channel that we do this in, was not available, which meant that I couldn't get a voice into the Discord channel. I have to introduce him, but I don't have the rights to speak in there. So he had to cobble up a way in order to do this. And eventually what we did is we turned on the game sound. So we're using the game sound in there, and I was piping through the game sound, and from there piping into Discord through his system. So it's not the greatest sound quality that was coming through there at that point. And the other thing was, he was piping the sound through Discord, and I didn't quite understand what the consequences of that were until I started my introduction and that we were live.
Echo, 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 echo.
Well, they weren't hearing the echo because I'm on headphones. So so about 3 seconds after I say anything, it's coming through my headphones.
You would hear the loop back up because you're like, yeah. Oh, that would be annoying.
Yes. And when you consider that I finished off my introduction with a poem, and here I am trying to recite a poem.
Hey everybody, Drac here in Post. Just wanted to add a little note here. At this point in the show, Pineleaf had some issues with his internet and he dropped out. So I finished the show on my own. That is why you did not hear Pineleaf anymore in this episode.
We currently have 22 supporters over on our Patreon. If you would like to help support DDO players, simply go over to our donations page where you can help support the Players Alliance Network on Patreon. You will find rewards there, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even you could guest on a podcast of DDO Players News. So if you want to be on the podcast, click over to our Patreon and give a donation. Or I'll give you a little hint too. You don't even have to do that. If you want to be on the podcast, just let me know and we'll have you on the podcast. But it would be cool if you would donate to our Patreon too. But if not, we understand. We have no iTunes reviews this week. We would love your help over there though. And no featured comments. No emails either. Nobody wanted to talk to us this week, I guess. But if you would like to do so, podcast@ddoplayers.com. Podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can email us, and you can also follow all of us on Twitter. The Players Alliance Network is @PlayersAlly, and that is ALLY. DDO Players is @DDO Myself, Draculetta, is @Draculetta_72. And Pineleaf can be found at Pineleaf Needles. Players Alliance does have other live shows on our network. You can catch XP Quest the first and third Fridays every month at 11 p.m. The last Friday of every month, we have Lotro Academy After School. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we have Lotro Players News. Join us for the live shows over at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is it for this week. Hopefully, Pineleaf will get his problem sorted out, and he'll join me again next week. So until then, I'm just going to leave you with this. Stupid RNG. Stupid, stupid RNG.